Greetings, dear listener. This is Brother Head. Sorry for the delays. Trust me, I'm working on getting these fixed out. But here is episode 61 of Head Speaks.
Overture, curtain lights. This is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing a part. We know every card by heart.
Hello there, true believers. This is Head Speaks, a proud member of the Headcast Network family of shows. As usual, I am your host, Aaron Moss, aka Head. This is my mostly monthly Headcast, where I talk about comics, movies, role-playing games, TV shows, and anything else geeky that I want. So sit back and enjoy the ride. Let's begin.
What heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.
Hey there, dear listeners. It's time for...
Center of the universe, on the planet Eternia, looms Castle Grayskull, ancient fortress of mystery, its power sought by the dark forces of Snake Mountain, sanctuary of sin and sorrow, ruled by the demon Skeletor and his evil acolytes, and the only thing that stands in their way is Prince Adam, who defends the secrets of Castle Grayskull as He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 4 others share this secret, guardians of Grayskull all, amidst an army of the honorable, committed to guarding Castle Grayskull from the havoc of destruction. For those who control Grayskull control the power to be masters of the universe.
At the movies with Head. So this episode, or this session, I guess, we're going to talk about the new Masters of the Universe TV series on Netflix. I've just recently got around to watching it. I've heard a lot of good, heard a lot of bad.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta go and show.
And before I begin, I will say that this session will be full of spoilers.
Spoilers!
For the current Masters of the Universe TV series. I say current. The first half of the season, I guess, is aired. It was 5 episodes. This was Kevin Smith was heavily in hand with this series. I'm just looking real quick on Wikipedia to get some information on it for you guys. Yeah, it was released July the 23rd of 2001, and it looks like the second part of the show launches here in the next month or so. So, let me see real quick. Yeah, it was created by Kevin Smith, based on the Masters of the Universe by Mattel, starring Chris Wood, Mark Hamill, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Liam Cunningham, Lena Headey, Cersei from Game of Thrones. Anyways, so this is a updated look at He-Man and Masters of the Universe. First, let's talk a little bit about the bad I've heard. I've heard a lot of people say that this is woke, in quotes. I don't personally like that term because it, people use it too much, and they use it as a way to downplay when someone's trying to do something good. But it's been accused of being woke. It's been accused of cutting out everything male-wise and just focusing on females. I know one YouTuber I listen to once in a while, very few that I listen to, Eric July. He had problems with it because apparently in a lot of Kevin Smith's interviews, up to the point he was saying it's going to be a He-Man show. They're not sidelining He-Man. But then they kill He-Man in the very first episode, never be seen again, supposedly. And I don't know. So anyway, that's a lot of the bad I heard about it from people, is it supposedly it ignores everything that came beforehand. It doesn't really ignores it, but it's focusing more on the female portion of the show, I guess. And I don't know. But anyways, let's get my thoughts on the actual show. I'm sure you guys, if you're into He-Man and all that, I'm sure you've seen some of the bad reports on it. Here's my thoughts on it. I enjoyed it. For what it was, I thought it was a decent show. The animation was pretty good. The premise, this is from Wikipedia. During Skeletor's latest assault on Castle Grayskull, he caused the demise of himself and He-Man, along with the source of all magic in existence. But after a final battle, forever fractures Eternia. It's up to Teela to solve the mystery of the missing Sword of Power in a race against time to prevent the end of the universe. Her journey will uncover the secrets of Grayskull at last. And again, previously in the original series, keep in mind, I haven't watched the original series all the way through in, 30, 40 years. I've seen bits and pieces here and there. I was a big fan of He-Man. Never got the toys. Again, I was around 13 or so when this came out originally. And my mom said I was getting too old for toys. I showed her with all my G.I. Joes after that. But that's another story entirely. But I did like He-Man. I like She-Ra. In fact, my 13-year-old daughter, for a while, she was getting into She-Ra. But again, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Masters of the Universe. I personally missed out on a lot of the promotions for it. I don't usually sit down and watch a lot of the commercials or promos for it because if it's something that I'm on the border about, I will. Or if it's like Suicide Squad, something that I actually podcast about, I will watch trailers so I can talk about it. But Masters of the Universe, not He-Man, it was actually called Masters of the Universe. I planned on watching it anyways, because again, being a fan of He-Man and the whole series, so I didn't need to watch something to convince me to watch it. In fact, everything I heard about it kind of put me off a little bit. But Mike, I'm a He-Man fan. I need to see for myself. So the series, let's take a look at it briefly. I finished watching the first 5 episodes. The show starts out with He-Man and Skeletor battling. Skeletor tricks He-Man into using his Sword of Power. They're inside the Castle Grayskull, and I guess underneath, it's the first time we've seen it, there's a box or something, a cabinet that contains all the magical energy from Eternia. Skeletor tricks He-Man into stabbing him and unlocking this booth, or whatever you want to call it, this mechanism built by the elders to hold all the magic. The magic comes out. Skeletor's trying to absorb it to become all powerful. He-Man decides that he can use the Sword of Power to help contain it. In doing so, it transforms him back into Prince Adam, and it causes the Sword of Power to split into 2. Teela's there for this. Man of Arms is there watching all this. And again, Skeletor attacks Prince Adam, He-Man, whatever you want to call him. And they both end up vanishing in an explosion. In quotes, dying in the explosion. So Man at Arms and Teela go back to King Randor and let him know that He-Man died. And I guess his mom, Adam's mom, knew who he really was, because she started weeping and she's like, "Oh, my son." And Prince Randor says, "No, it's just He-Man. Our son's fine, isn't he, Man at Arms?" And Man at Arms admits to King Randor that no, actually, He-Man and Prince Adam is one and the same. He gets very disturbed by this, very upset that no one ever told him. He banishes Man at Arms and tells him if he ever comes back around, if he ever sees him again, he's going to have him killed. He orders Teela, who is the new Man at Arms, before this happened, right before this all happened, she became the new Man at Arms. He tells her to kick her dad out of the castle. In case you didn't know, wait, listen to this part. No. Man at Arms is Teela's father. So King Randor tells Teela to kick her father out of the castle, and she gets upset because she kind of, and this is the only part I don't know if I like or not. She gets real whiny and real, I guess we use the word pissy, that everyone seemed to know that Prince Adam was He-Man except for her. She got real upset about it. She's like, well, I'm done with all you people. It's all this magic and the lies. I'm out of here. And she left. She becomes a bounty hunter, fortune hunter, whatever you want to call her, with some new gal called, what's her name? I had it written down. I can't find it now. Andra, Andra. Andra. They are hired by an old woman to retrieve a gold goblets. Once they retrieve the goblets, they find out it's the Sky's head of Skeletor's staff, which has the last embers of true magic. The sorceress transfers the remainder of the magic into Evelyn's staff, becoming weakened in the process. And Teela is tasked by the sorceress to retrieve the two halves of the Sword of Power, which are currently locked in the realms they are forged in, the Halls of Heroes and Preternia, and Subternia, the Land of the Dead. First, Teela doesn't want to because she's done with magic, but Cringer convinces her to do otherwise. So anyways, they go on, Andra and Teela go on this quest to find the two halves of the sword. They have their adventures, and somewhere along the way in the end of the fourth episode, Teela is greeted by Prince Adam in Preternia, which is basically the Masters of the Universe version of heaven. She's already gotten one part of the sword in the hell portion of it, if you will, Subternia. So she gets to Preternia, finds Prince Adam, and Prince Adam is in what's called the Hall of Heroes in Preternia. During this, Orko dies fighting against, what's his name? Scareglow, who rules the Land of the Dead. So they get both parts of the sword, and they use a guy named Roboto to kind of forge the sword back into the Sword of Power. And the magic is being restored to Eternia at this point. But they're able to get back to Earth. Not Earth, but Eternia. Who is it? Prince Adam and Teela and Andra and all them. They get back to Eternia. But Prince Adam is suddenly stabbed from behind by Skeletor, who's been biding his time and hiding in Evelyn's staff. He claims the Sword of Power as his own, and he summons the power of Grayskull to ascend as a god and become a true master of the universe. Again, that was 5 episodes. I can just kind of recap briefly. But thoughts on the actual episodes overall. Yes, it is very, in quotes, girl power. I mean, Teela and Andra is the main focus. So if you went into this, and again, I haven't seen all the previews that others have seen. So if you saw those and it made you think that He-Man was going to be the centerpiece of the story, he's not. He does die in the beginning episode. Prince Adam shows up in episode 4, like I said, and he dies again in episode 5. But again, it's a, in quotes, comic book show. Well, it's not a comic book show. It's cartoon. It's superheroes and type of stuff. Sword and sorcery. People die all the time and come back. In fact, He-Man died at the beginning of the series. Episode 4, we see he's back. Well, in episode 5, he came back to life because he left Preternia to come back to Eternia. So Eternius. And so I don't know if He-Man, Prince Adam is dead for good or not. There's another 5 episodes for this season. That's going to be coming out, like I said, the next month or so. The animation style in this is very anime oriented, a very anime type. But I don't think a lot of the animation is not too far off, in my opinion, from the original series. It looks a little better. It looks a little more, in quotes, realistic, as it were. So I personally can't wait to see the next part of the series and see what happens. I'm going to watch it. Let me see real quick. I don't know. I don't have the problems a lot of people seem to have with it. And again, I'm one of those that if you've listened to my episodes, you'll know that I'm the type that complains about changes that doesn't feel organic. I thought that this series, the changes they brought about was very organic. Again, I didn't like Teela's hair once she cast off the whole man of arms and walked away from the castle. She had some like side of her head shaved and the other half is a short bob type thing. I'm not a fan of that, but I'm not going to knock it just that it's bad. I'm not a fan of that type of haircut. I think, yes, they are going for the, again, in quotes, the woke crowd, the very liberal women need to be a part of everything. We need to include more women, include more, as they call POC, people of color. Because, again, yes, I will agree that women and minorities have been given a bit of a short shrift in the past. Again, a lot of these creators on these shows were old white people. So, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. A lot of them are old white guys. And as they say, a lot of writers write what you know. A lot of writers, if they start to go out and write more about minorities or women, they get slammed when they do anything wrong. So they tend to stick towards white guys. And honestly, I may get booed or heckled for saying this, but this cartoon was, in the 80s, was aimed at boys. They came out with She-Ra for the girl audience, but He-Man, the name itself, He-Man, it's very masculine, very masculine, very testosterone filled. He-Man got this big buff guy, and again, people always complain about Barbie, about women, about female characters on superheroes. Well, real women don't look like that. Well, I'm afraid to tell you, real men don't look like He-Man. So it goes both ways. Whenever you watch, and most superhero guys are very buff. They have very tight outfits. When you're dealing with superheroes and the fantasy genre, you can't expect much reality to be creeping in. And they are, a lot of this is aimed at the cheesecake. As I said, TNA, but cheesecake is more of a correct term. So I don't have a problem with that. Some of the pictures I saw of Teela, I wasn't too impressed with her new look. Again, part of her haircut, which I hate. Some of the scenes that made her look a little more buff than I would think she would be, but watching the show and seeing what led up to it, I mean, when they first started showing Teela, she was very reminiscent of the 80s cartoon. And then I could see her changing and becoming more, I don't want to say masculine, but more, working out more and just changing her overall appearance. So yeah, it does have a lot of, in quotes, woke moments, but personally, take it for what you will. I think that the moments are, for the most part, well-deserved. I think they come naturally for what Kevin and everyone else working on this project was going for. And again, the show is called Masters of the Universe. It's not called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe like the original show. So, Masters of the Universe, the title itself doesn't lend you to, I want to say thank, but it doesn't lend itself to being He-Man being the main character. It sounds like it's going to focus on the Masters of the Universe. Other people, yes, He-Man, but the other characters also. So, I don't personally have a problem with the way they killed He-Man off at the beginning. At the second part, the last episode 5, when they killed him off again. As I said, we'll wait and see if he actually stays dead. I'm not holding my breath because, again, I've read comics for a few years now. I've watched this kind of stuff. I know usually they'll come back. So I'm not going to hold my breath and cry that He-Man's dead because until I know for sure he's dead till the series ends, I guess. But I personally, if you listen to me and take my word for anything, I would recommend ignoring what everyone has said and check it out. Looks like Mark Hamill is doing the voice of Skeletor, of course, which is great. And again, the voice cast for the most part is pretty good. I enjoy that. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I would highly recommend checking out if you're a fan of the old He-Man cartoon. Go into it knowing that He-Man is not the major star of this show, no matter what you may have seen or heard previously. Teela is the big focus, but again, I don't personally have a problem with them changing the focus from He-Man over to Teela. But definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. Send me an email to head@headcastnetwork.com or go onto our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/headcastnetwork, and let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Did you not like the Masters of the Universe show? Or am I in the right ballpark? Definitely looking forward to hearing from you guys. Like I said, I've been talking about this for almost 20 minutes, so we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back. Head Speaks will be back after these important messages.
Born out of violence, adopted in chaos, teenager Cassandra Cain is seeking the answer to a question. If nurture can undo nature. Raised to be an assassin, Cassandra is trying to burn the pages of her past and write a whole new future.
So I'm throwing gasoline of vengeance, and I'm lighting matches with my pain. Now I'm setting fire to those who've burned me, as I watch my past go up in flames, up in
You can write to us at thehunterspodcast.com or go to Twitter at hunterspodcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and your other podcatchers. This podcast shares a feed with the Hunters Podcast, the Bad Girl Cassandra Cain podcast. Cheers.
Monthly. It's Action Film Face Off.
Hello, I'm Jason the Weasel Skull Ulbrich, and I'd like to tell you about a podcast I do with my brother, Jared Ulbrich, the yard sale artist.
Action Film Face Off.
Yes, thank you, Jared. Action Film Face Off is a podcast where my brother and I, who are both military combat vets.
Jason was a Navy SEAL.
Jason was not a Navy SEAL. Jason was a military intelligence wing. But anyway, in each episode of Action Film Face Off, we select 2 different action films.
Some of them have Chuck Norris.
Technically speaking, none of them have had Chuck Norris yet, but it could happen because we use a randomizer set between 1970 and modern day to select our 2 films. So you'll always get 2 films, each from a different year.
Our randomizer has spikes on it.
We use a Google random number generator, so it does not have spikes on it. And we put the films into our Videodome arena.
It also has spikes.
It does not have spikes. But we discuss the films and score them through 6 different rounds of criteria.
I scored Bond films very high.
Okay, that's true. But anyway, by the end of the episode, we crown one of the action films the champion of Action Film Face-Off.
Next episode, Jason fights a bear.
Jason is not fighting a bear, but please give our show a listen. We're part of the Longbox Crusade network of shows.
Pat Sampson killed a man with a sword once.
I can neither confirm nor deny that statement, but you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, and most podcatchers under Longbox Crusade, or you can subscribe to just our show by searching for Action Film Face-Off.
Come see the blood fly.
And that's Action Film Face-Off. We do, indeed, invite you to come and see the blood fly.
I just said that.
The Justice League wouldn't help him, so Batman formed a new team, These people of power are all looking for something, be it their past, or a purpose, or simply somewhere to fit in. These are the heroes for a troubled age. They are the Outsiders.
We are the Outsiders.
Covering Mike W. Barr's 1983 series from the very beginning, as they face villains no other team can, like Agent Orange, the Force of July, and the Nuclear Family. Puns. This is The Outcasters, a Batman and the Outsiders podcast. Look for us with the Huntress podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Or listen at our website, thehuntress.podcast.com, and follow us on Twitter at BatOutcasters. We are the Outcasters, because to live outside the law, you must be honest.
We are the Outsiders.
And now back to Head Speaks. And I hope you enjoyed that break. Now let's move on to the next segment. Insert what's in Ed's long box. This month, we'll continue our look at Power of the Atom. This is issue number 2. The cover date was September of 1988. The on-sale date was May the 31st of 1988. The cover price was $1. May of 88. That's, I was a senior in high school. In fact, I graduated high school the next month, the next couple weeks, actually. But anyways, well, a long time ago. Anyways, cover price was $1. The title of this was called Just Like Starting Over. The writer, the wonderful Roger Stern. Penciler, Dwayne Turner. Inker, Keith Stan Wilson. Letterer, Bill Oakley. Colorist, Nancy Houlihan. The cover credits was by Dwayne Turner and Keith Stan Wilson. And the editor of this was Mike Carlin. The synopsis, which again I pulled from Mike's Amazing World of Comics, great site. After his return to Ivytown, Ray Palmer remains stuck at the height of 3 feet tall. He's examined by a doctor who can find nothing physically wrong. Ray then visits his former research assistant, Enrica Nigiri? Not sure how to pronounce that, at Ivy University. Ray pulls an all-nighter session in the lab and solves the problem of his size control. In the morning, terrorists have taken over the school library. Ray goes into action as the Atom and defeats them. In the process, he rescues a diplomat who was attending the university under CIA protection. The Atom wants his return kept private, but the CIA leaks the news to the media. Comments on this issue. Again, this all came from Mike's Amazing World. This is the first post-crisis appearance of Erica, the Earth One version of the character who first appeared in Atom 12 was named Enrichetta. Enrichetta. Enrichetta? So they took an old character. Again, I'm not that familiar with her. I'm actually not familiar with all from the previous continuity. And they redid her for the new post-crisis DC universe. Very interesting. Now for my thoughts on this issue. As usual, we're going to start with the cover. The cover, in the background, we see a bunch of different scientific equipment. In the front, we see a couple people, one of them being Enrica, the other one being... I forget who that is offhand. It says the power released. And in the foreground, I guess the Enrica and the other guy's in the foreground. But in between them and the equipment, we have Ray Palmer as the Atom. We've got 3 different images of him. Full size, or looks like almost full size. Waist high and the knee high. The waist high and the knee high are in, I believe that's Surprint, that Shag and Rob talk about over on the Who's podcast. But Ray looks like he's in pain. I'm sorry, the Atom looks like he's in pain. He's got wires hooked up to him. He's standing he's got different poses in each of the 3 images, I guess they're called. It's a very nice cover. I like this cover. It's basically showing Ray fixing himself and regaining his power. This is a very nice cover. I like the Atom's costume. Again, as I've said, the Atom is one of my 2 favorite characters, so this is a fantastic cover We get the Ray in his costume full image. Plus we see him, I was going to say shrinking down, but actually it's the other way around. He's getting bigger, but it's very nice. I really like this cover. The use of lighting is fine on it. In the very background, we get some yellow lighting fading down to more of a white down at the bottom. The two people in the front, Rika and the other guy, are like kind of shocked and like, what the heck? What's going on? They're like, worried about their friend Ray. But overall, it's a great cover. I really like this. Moving on to the interior of the story, we start out and we have the CIA looking at their file in the Atom. We see a couple of pictures of Ray. One good picture of Ray, a picture of the Atom was headshot, and then behind it we see another picture of Ray. And we got something, is this all we have on the Atom? So basically here we have the CIA guys talking about the Atom and how they didn't know anything about him until they published the book that him and his ex-wife published, authorized, whatever you want to call it. And I guess the Atom did some work for the CIA, but they never knew who he was. He was just, as he says, that one of his assistants, whatever, is like, Palmer was a member of the old Justice League of America. After all, we've uncovered very few of their secret identities. And the rest of this page, they're basically recounting the first issue, how the rainforest was burnt down. Well, not the entire forest, but there was a fire in the forest the jungle where Ray was living. His city was destroyed. He was able to get away. And they've had someone watching Norman Brawler's residence, which, as we talked about last issue, was Ray's old house. And so we cut inside, and I guess that's Norman Brawler on the cover. I forgot about that. His friend. We get a nice picture here of Ray being examined by a doctor. I'm not going to spend time dwelling on this. I covered this in the synopsis, how the doctor said Ray is fine. And after the doctor leaves, they remove a screen that they were hiding in the fireplace that Ray smashed. But I guess it was Ray's idea to hide what he did to the fireplace. Because Norm was like, well, if he would have showed him that, maybe it would have helped him figure out what's going on with you. But he's like, no, this is not a regular problem. This is a me problem, basically. And so Ray went down to the basement where Norman kept some of his old equipments that was there when he took over the house. Ray turns on the shrink machine he has, and it doesn't work. And meanwhile, after that, while they're deciding what to do, Ray's sitting in the front room reading the news, and he's getting caught up with what's happened in the last, couple of years, or whatever it's been since he left. That Hawkman and Hawkwoman's identity has been revealed. Anti-hero riots, which was back during Legends. The JLA disbanded, which happened at the end of the Legends miniseries. And he's like, what the devil happened while I was gone? Did the whole country lose its mind? Because again, he left before Legends and he didn't come back until, after the crisis, he just now came back. And so he decides to go get some help. As he's reading the alumni news, he finds, as we find on the next page, that his old lab assistant, Anika Nigrini, is the newly named associate professor of physics. So Norman dresses up as a delivery man, brings a package, a box, about a little smaller than waist high, a wooden crate to her. He's like, sorry for the interruption, Dr. Nigria, but I have a package that just couldn't wait. And Ray opens it. He's like, just an old colleague, Ricky. Buongiorno. Yeah, Dr. Palmer, how? So he explains what's going on, that he temporarily regained his powers, but he lost them again. Now he's stuck at 3 foot high. And so they begin studying him. And again, here on the next couple of pages, I love this. They actually have page numbers. This is back when they used to have page numbers on things, but that's another gripe entirely. I do like how the Professor Erica is running her tests on him and all this test equipment. Ray's just kind of kicking back his arms under his head as he's relaxing, as they're doing like CAT scans and X-rays and all these things, trying to find out what's going on with them. And they've discovered that somehow he bonded with the white dwarf material that was in his suit. And as they go over what caused him to trigger his powers when he broke the fireplace, they discovered it was emotions. So Norman is holding the punching bag while Ray's punching it, and they're, trying to work him up into a rage. And Norman's like, my grandmother can hit harder than that. Put your back into it. Your back, not your butt. Pretend the bag is someone you really hate. And Ray's getting at, he's like, shut up, Norm. And Norm's like, that was pitiful. Don't you hate anybody? How about Paul Hoban? He stole your wife. Well, those creeps who burned out your home in the jungle. There would have been a fire if you hadn't screwed up. And Ray's like, Norman, shut up. As he just punches the bag, and he grows for just a second. As he punches the bag, knocks a hole in the bag, knocks... Sorry, I'm laughing as I read this. He punches the bag, causing Norm to fall back. And Norman's like, anybody see my contacts? And we find out that there was a split-second shift of mass. And, basically at this point, they just need to find a way to trigger it without, a violent episode like this, without really getting them mad. And as I talked about in the synopsis, Ray spends all night. And I like how Ray is sitting at the computer working. He's sitting on a couple of books to put himself up higher so he can reach the computer terminal. I really like that nice little touch. Like I say, the artwork in this, it's fantastic. I think that, who was it? Between Dwayne Turner and Kez Wilson, they did a fantastic job. Like I say, keeping him at a rather consistent height and showing things like him needing to sit on books. I was looking here and I'm trying to see if maybe he was a little short here, but no, that's about right. So yeah, he's sitting on some books so he can type on the computer as both Norman and Erica leave. Enrica. I keep calling her Erica. It's Enrica. And so when they come back the next day, Ray's been working all night and he's built a new suit. And he's realized that, because he's saying that if he can control his mass and size, if there's more of the Atom suit in this dimension. But since there's not, Ray says that he has to create a new Atom suit with an enhanced cyberkinetic web. Wow, $10 words. Basically, on page 10 here, Ray's describing what he needs to do to recreate his suit. And so here at the next page 11, top of it, we basically, if this was a TV show or a movie, we'd have a montage here showing them work. Ray's working on the computer. They're building a costume, creating the costume for him. So yeah, we'd have a minute or two, playing some music of the day, whatever was popular music. That's what I'm looking for. Jeez, popular music of the day, showing them doing these different things. And here, our very next panel, we show Ray in his Atom costume with everyone looking on. And then here at the bottom of page 11, we get Ray growing from the 3-foot height to his regular 6-foot height. And again, here, this is a great panel. Between the last two panels, the second to the last, we have a panel half Ray, half Atom, the Atom symbol twirling around him. The last panel, we have Ray at his normal height with Enrica and Norman standing there, and connecting the two is a word bubble, a word balloon, whatever, that says grow, which I think is a really nice touch. And this page 11, the second to the last panel I was referring to, I think it's a really nice panel. I would have liked to see that one blown up more, just because I say it's a split view of Ray and the Atom. A fantastic job. But again, all that work kind of takes out of Ray, because plus he was up all night, so he passes out. Well, not really passes out, but he's tired, and his equilibrium also kind of stumbles. So they put him to bed where he falls asleep. And Ray gets disturbed with an alarm where we find out that there's some terrorists or somebody, a hostage situation in the library. There may be some shooting. So Enrica returns to the bedroom. She finds Ray gone, because, of course, Ray heard this, and what does a hero do? He takes off. I think they're doing a very good job of showing Ray Palmer and showing what he would do, how he works, how he does. Again, when he knows someone's in trouble, he rushes off and helps. And the next couple of pages is fantastic. It shows the Atom. He gets into the library, and he's using all his old skills. He shrinks down real tiny and makes his weight real almost nothing, so he can glide on the air currents And he tells the hostage, take it easy. Everything's going to be all right. Don't be surprised at anything you see or hear. And the guy's like, who? He's like, shh, I'm a friend. And so, again, these look like Middle Eastern, Arabic people, soldiers, whatever you want to call them. So Adam jumps up onto the light and he starts talking to him. He's like, and he's speaking Arabic because, again, that's one of the languages apparently he knows. He's all, craven dogs, you have brought shame to the name of Allah. Throw down your arms or I shall send a mighty jinn to destroy you. And one of the guys opens fire on the light that Ray's sitting on. And he's like, Jinn, do the Yankees take us for children? This is how we answer Western trickery as he shoots the light out. And all of a sudden you're fool. And the guy starts to lose control of his weapon as it falls to the ground, something tore it from his hands. And then Ray appears, I don't know, a foot tall or so, and jumps at the guys. Aye, look, the Jinn. There are no such creatures. I deny. And Adam's like, deny this, as he punches him in the gut, knocking him over. And he vanishes, which they think he disappeared. And he's like, he's gone, vanished into the air. He must be a jinn. It cannot be. Such spiritual stuff of fables. And we're again, real small, he's using his voice saying, will you deny what your own eyes behold? It's a trick, it must be. What if it's not? If there's a jinn, let him show himself. And Ray comes up from behind the guy and grows taller, knocks to his knees and knocks him down into the bookcase. And one of the other guy's like, forgive us, jinn, we surrender. And one of the other guys, he's like, fools of fools, why does this jinn speak in the same voice as Allah, huh? And he starts shooting at Ray. And so again, Ray is able to take him out. And the last one, one of the last guys standing, he's like, Jinn, or whatever you may be, I have an explosive device. Show yourself, or I'll send us all to Allah. And Ray reappears reappears normal size. He's like, how he pulled the pin on that grenade with both hands full? Because I got the grenade in one hand and the gun in the other, holding on the hostage. And as he's thinking about that, Ray just socks him, knocks him out. And again, he takes out the last guy that sits up, grabs his gun. And there's one guy left standing, the one that kind of surrendered to the jinn. And Ray tells him to unbind the captive. And I like this. The hostage is like, my thanks, jinn. May I address you in English? Ray's, of course, in English. And the terrorist is like, Jinn, you speak the English tongue? I speak in whichever tongue I choose, fool. Do you question my power to do so? No. And so the guy in the hostage, like, you're the one American called Adam, yes? I've read your exploits, but I never know you could assume such a height. He's like, well, I try to keep a low profile. He's like, I'd appreciate if you wouldn't, let anyone know I was here, keep my name out of the paper. And he tells the guy, you begin in Arabic, that you're the captive of this man you have wronged. Obey him as you obey me, or know my wrath. As he jumps and disappears into the vents, just in time for the SWAT team to bust in. Which is perfect timing, because, heaven forbid the SWAT or the police show up to help. But and so the guy tells the police, well, here's the bad guys everyone's taken care of. I need to call Washington. And we come to find out that these were Koraki gunmen. And their hostage was an Amir Lashkar, nephew of the late president of Korak. And apparently he contacted the CIA, or someone contacted the CIA when he contacted Washington. I guess it was reading this again. I guess the CIA just skirted him out of Korak. He gave a new identity to America. And so he owes them his life and the Atom, of course. So they said they've arranged safe housing. And after Amir leaves, the two CIA guys are talking. And apparently they leaked that he was here to this Koraki guys, hoping, not knowing, but hoping that Ray would show up and save him to bring him out into the limelight. And then here on the final pages, we have Ray discovering that now that they've made this change to his costume, he can actually will it on and off at will. Because before, in the old days, when he would shrink down, the costume would appear. When he grows to normal size, it would disappear. Now he can have the costume on at any height, even at regular size, or you have the costume removed just by thinking about it at any size. So again, that's kind of a change for the Atom and his costume. Now you can have it at full 6 foot height and still be in costume. And as they turn on the news, they find out that the top news story, it's a Wednesday, and the big morning news is the return of a superhero. Reliable sources told NBC News that Dr. Raymond Palmer, better known as the Ammon, stopped 5 cracky terrorists who seized the library at Ivy University overnight. And earlier, Ray was talking about how he's got a bit of a headache because of all this, everything going on. He's been busy. And as this ends, it's like Palmer, whose identity was revealed in last year's best-selling biography, has not been seen in the United States for many months. It is unknown how or why. And Ray's like, Ricky, I think I'll take that aspirin now. And then it tells us the next issue is a man called Strobe, and it's going to be called 15 Minutes of Fame. But again, great second issue for the Atom, for Ray Palmer. It's a great way to bring him back. Like I said, I picked this up when it came out, and I've always loved the Atom in the old issues of Justice League I've read, on the Super Friends. So I picked this up when it came out, and I absolutely love this issue, this series. I think that Roger Stern did a fantastic job with the story. Everyone involved, Dwayne Turner and Keith Wilson, did a great job with the pencils and inks. The lettering was fantastic, which was by Bill Oakley, as I said. Nancy did a great job with the coloring. The cover's fantastic. Mike Carlin, who's known as a Superman guy, did a fantastic job with this. And like I said, I'm saddened that it was only 18 issues, but we'll get to those in due time. But yeah, that was The Power of the Atom #2. Great series, great issue. What do you guys think? Let me know. Did you guys read this? What did you like best about this issue? Reach out to me. Let me know. You can reach out to me at theatom@headcastnetwork.com. And check out the website, headcastnetwork.com. Check out our Facebook group, which is Head Speaks. And join in the conversation. Come talk about this issue. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I think with that, since it wasn't too long since my last break, I'm just going to finish this off. Let's go and take a listen to insert Talking Ahead of the Mail Time. Again, I haven't really done much of social media recently. I've been running behind on everything, trying to play catch up in life. But I did want to mention on my Talking Ahead, which is my mailbag segments, that if you do like what I'm doing here, check out patreon.com. That's patreon.com/headcastnetwork.com. Throw a few bucks in the tin. It'd help out. I had one person on there, but he's dropped off. He's quit because I was absent for a while. So he kind of stopped, but I do want to give him a shout out. Cosplay Dad, thank you for the time you were a sponsor on Patreon. As I said, you get your name read off on my show, so I am doing that. Even though you have stopped, I don't blame you. I'm still giving you the shout outs for a little while. So thank you very much for Cosplay Dad for sponsoring us over on Patreon. And if you want to have your name read off, join us over at Patreon. And throw a few bucks in the tin. Like I talked about earlier, make sure you throw a message out on Facebook, Twitter. I'm at Headcast Network. Again, I don't do that as much as I should. I should really get back into that. But again, I'm really bad at social media. And also, if you want to shout out to us on Instagram, you can head over to Instagram and look for Headcast Network. And you can follow us on there, throw a message again. I'm not on there as much as I should. Something I'm slowly working on getting into and trying to do this the right way. So let me know any advice, any comments you have. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. And for Head's final thoughts for the day, as usual, just be kind to each other. Remember, we're all in the same world. Over on my regular Facebook page, I talk a lot of comic stuff. I talk a lot about politics. And so my wife pointed out the other day that I haven't really been a really political guy except for the last few years. I've gotten more into it. And I'll talk about this maybe another episode of Head Speaks. I'm not going to go too much detail right now, but just be kind to one another, treat each other as you want to be treated. I know it's the golden rule and all that, but we need to be nicer to each other. No matter your skin color, no matter your religion, no matter your beliefs, your political beliefs, your whatever, your race, sex, anything, we need to be kind to one another. Also, if you want to record a message, you can send it to me at headspeaks.com. I'll play it on the air. Again, if you want to record a message, you can send it to us at headspeaks.com, and we'll play it on the air. And also, for the Headcast Network in general, I have a voicemail set up finally. If you want, you can call and leave us a message at area code 559-500-3182. Again, the phone number is 559-500-3182. You can call and leave us a message. Just at the beginning of the message, please let me know which show you're calling in about. I've had one person over on my G.I. Joe show call in and leave a message. His name was Sean. Thank you very much, Sean. I know you don't listen to this show probably, but thank you. And I played his message I will play his message on this next episode of G.I. Joe, a Real American Headcast. But definitely give us a call, leave us a message, send us a message via email, reach out to us via email, the Facebook page, or wherever you can, and let us know. If you're listening this on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and leave a review on there. I'd appreciate that. 5 stars preferred, but whatever you feel I deserve. But I guess that's going to do it. Until next month. Hopefully I'll be here on time next month. I'm signing off, and remember, Head has spoken. Thank you for listening to another fantastic episode of Head Speaks. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, let me know. Drop me an email to head@headspeaks.com or visit our home at head.headspeaks.com. You can also visit and talk with me on Facebook and Google+, both under Head Speaks. You can also send an MP3 file with your thoughts, and I can play that on the air. And you can also get more of me on my other podcasts. Be sure to listen to Task Force X, where monthly I look at John Ossinger's Suicide Squad and Paul Kuppenberg's Checkmate comics from the 80s and early 90s. Also, over on G.I. Joe, a Real American Headcast, my podcasting friends Ryan Daly and Kyle Benning, along with myself, are looking at all of the G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero comics, and related titles from Marvel and IDW. All of my headcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher, along with the respective blogs and my main page at headspeaks.com. All comments, thoughts, and opinions expressed on Head Speaks are owned wholly by the speaker of said comments and do not express the opinions of Head Speaks, unless, of course, I'm the one making the comments. Head Speaks, Task Force X, and G.I. Joe, a Real American Headcast, are all part of the Headcast family. So join us next month, another wonderful episode of Head Speaks. Until then, I'll see you in the funny pages. Good night.